James A. Fitzpatrick Biography. James Anthony FitzPatrick, February 26, 1894, June 12, 1980, was an American producer, director, writer, and narrator, known from the early 1930s as the voice of the globe. From his Fitzpatrick's Traveltalks. Biography. James Anthony FitzPatrick was born in Shelton, Connecticut. After completing training in dramatic arts, he worked for a while as a journalist. In 1916, he entered into films by starting the Juvenile Film Company, in Cleveland, producing comedy shorts featuring children, anticipating by years similar series such as Our Gang and The Little Rascals. However, the series was not a success. By 1921, FitzPatrick was working as a writer/director in Charles Urban's American Kineto concern, making a series titled Great American Authors, which featured profiles of famous American writers. However, Kineto folded in 1924, and in 1925 FitzPatrick established his own company and undertook two concurrent series, Famous Music Masters, dramatized shorts about the lives of famous composers, and Songs of. These were distributed worldwide, and some were later synchronized to sound. In 1930, FitzPatrick began filming travel documentaries for British and American viewers. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer distributed the series under the title Fitzpatrick Traveltalks. Beginning with 1934's Holland and Tulip Time, the Traveltalks were filmed in Technicolor, making this series one of the first regular vehicles for color film in the American film industry. After FitzPatrick left MGM in 1954, he produced a similar series for Paramount Pictures, titled VisDivision Visits, for about another year before retiring. He died at the age of 86 in Cathedral City, California. Legacy. FitzPatrick made nearly 300 films in a career that spanned 5 decades. He was, in some ways, the heir to Charles Urban's approach to making travelogues. They concentrated on the picturesque elements of a nation visited, architecture and landscape, but not so much the people. IMDb reproduces an unsourced quote from FitzPatrick, which reads, "How would I have gained admittance to those countries if I had commented on their social problems? I made my pictures at a time when travel was almost impossible for the average person. I believe I showed people what they would have wanted to see if they could have gone themselves. I don't recall anyone ever requesting a tour of slums and prisons." FitzPatrick also relates to Charles Urban in his advocacy of color, which he first employed in Charles Gounod, 1928, a film in the famous Music Master series. With the coming of television, Hollywood began to reduce its reliance on short subjects, and many shorts departments began to close. FitzPatrick owned his own unit and managed to survive longer than many internal studio units, but the handwriting was on the wall by the time he bowed out. FitzPatrick Pictures produced only 5 features, and 3 of these were intended for release only in the UK. The last one, Song of Mexico, 1945, was released by Republic Pictures. In the 21st century, the Traveltalks are notable for preserving cityscapes before many of them had skyscrapers or international hotel chains, and ways of life that are now defunct, though these are presented in a very general way. The Traveltalks are still often shown today on Turner Classic Movies as filler material between features. On his 1958 Parlophone record The Best of Sellers, Peter Sellers performed Balaam, Gateway to the South, a parody of FitzPatrick travelogues, written by Frank Muir and Dennis Norden, and produced by George Martin. In 1960, he was awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.